A woman can work for 40 years and arrive at 65 with almost nothing in her own name, and it will not be because she was careless with money. That sentence is going to bother some people, so I am going to prove it, using numbers that anybody can look up. And by the end, you are going to understand something that changes how you look at the last 20 years of your life. Not what you should have done, what actually happened. Let me start with the belief this whole video is about, because everything comes from it. The belief is this: if you work your whole life and end up with nothing, it means you did not manage your money well. Almost everyone carries that belief, including the women it is being used against. And it is wrong, in a specific and provable way. Here is where it breaks. The Bureau of Labor Statistics tracks how Americans spend their time in a study called the American Time Use Survey. It has been running since 2003, every single year. And the finding that repeats decade after decade is that women do more unpaid work than men. Caregiving, household work, looking after older parents. That is not opinion. It is a stopwatch. Now put that next to the second number. The Federal Reserve runs a survey on the economic well-being of American households, also every year, since 2013. And one of the things it shows, over and over, is that a large share of households cannot cover an unexpected $400 expense with cash. Two different institutions, measuring two different things, and when you lay them next to each other, you get the shape of a life. Unpaid hours do not appear on a paycheck. And what does not appear on a paycheck does not appear in a retirement account, does not appear in a benefits record, and does not appear in anybody's name. So the woman who spent 11 years raising children and 6 years caring for a mother did not work less. She worked more. She just worked in a place where the work leaves no trace on paper. That is the gap. And it is roughly 20 years wide for a lot of women in this country. Now here is the part that almost nobody says. That gap is not a mistake she made. It is a mistake in what we measure. Every single one of those unpaid hours produced something real. A child who got raised, a mother who stayed in her home instead of a facility, a household that kept running while somebody else went to work, real value produced by real labor that simply had no line to be written on. And a life without a line on paper is exactly what shows up as nothing at 65. Now, let me be honest about what I am not saying, because this is where these conversations usually go wrong. I am not saying she should have worked outside the home. Many of those women had no real choice, and many of them made the right call for their family with the information they had. And I am not going to tell you what to do with a retirement account, because that is not my place, and it is not what this channel is for. What I am saying is smaller and more useful. The story she tells herself about those years is wrong, and the wrong story is doing damage right now, today at 52, at 55. Here is how it does damage. A woman who believes she ended up with nothing because she was bad with money believes something about her own competence, and a person who believes she is bad at something avoids it. That is why so many women in their 50s do not open the statement. It is not laziness. It is a person avoiding a subject that she has been told for 30 years that she fails at. She does not fail at it. She was never in a position where it could have worked. Those are not the same thing, and the difference between them is the entire reason this video exists. Now let me show you the second half of the math, because there is one, and it is the hopeful part. The gap is behind her. Nothing can be done about the 20 years that already happened. But the same numbers that explain the gap also explain something else. For most women over 50, the unpaid load starts going down. The children are raised, the house is quieter. In many cases, the caregiving is done, or it changed shape. For the first time in 3 decades, there are hours that are not already claimed. And what happens with those hours is the only part of this that is still open. I have watched this play out in the comments on this channel for a long time now. One woman wrote something that has stayed with me. It is good to help others, but you need to look after yourself first. You cannot set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Another one, who I think about often, understand that sometimes we have to save less than planned. Many are living on just social security, but get the mindset to save something no matter how small. Read that second one again. She is not talking about amounts. She is talking about a mindset, and she is saying it to other women from inside the same situation. That is a woman who figured out the difference between the gap and the guilt. I should mention here, and only once, the practical part of what these women describe, the actual step-by-step of setting aside a fixed piece before the month takes it, is what I put together in a short ebook called The 3 Jars Method. The link is right below this video, first in the description. No spreadsheets, no complicated language, no promises of a miracle, because I do not have miracles to sell. It costs less than lunch. If you are not interested, the math in this video is yours anyway, and it does not require buying anything. Now the last piece, and it is the one I actually wanted to get to. There is a consequence of the gap that has nothing to do with money, and it is worse than the money. A woman who arrives at 60 with nothing in her own name does not just have less. She has less standing. She is the one whose opinion on a family decision carries a little less weight. She is the one who has to ask instead of decide. She is the one who cannot leave a situation she does not want to be in, not because she is trapped by law, but because she is trapped by arithmetic. That is what people mean when they say money is freedom, and it is not about being rich. It is about having a floor. And here is what the last 20 years cannot take away. The floor is built the same way at 55 as at 25. Small, fixed, repeated. The math does not care how old you are, it only cares how many times you do it. A woman who starts at 55 and does it for 10 years has 10 years of it. That is not nothing. That is a flaw. And it is hers, and it did not exist before. I want to close with the thing I would want somebody to say to me. If you are watching this, and you are somewhere in your 50s, and you look back at the last 20 years while I was talking, and what you saw was a lot of work, and not much to show for it, I want you to hear the actual conclusion of the numbers I read out. You did not lose that money. You never had that money. It was never on a line with your name on it. And no amount of budgeting could have changed the fact that the labor was invisible to the system that counts. The failure was in the counting, not in you. And the 20 years ahead of you are counted differently, because for the first time, some of the hours belong to you. Tell me down below one thing. How many years of your life went into work that never showed up on a paycheck? Just the number of years. No explanation needed, and no amounts. I read all of them, and I already know what the answers are going to look like because I have been reading these for a long time now. Most of you are going to write a number between 10 and 25, and most of you have never once said that number out loud. If you want to see what building that floor actually looks like, week by week, there is a video on this channel that follows one woman for 9 months. Including the month she lost every dollar of it. It comes up right after this one. And if there is a woman in your life who thinks she has nothing to show for her years because she was bad with money, send her this one. She has been carrying somebody else's mistake in the counting, and she has been carrying it as if it were hers.